My name's Dean Lee. I'm from Darlington, up in County Durham. I'm a minister in Light and Life Missions, and I've been a Christian for about 11 years coming up. Just to share my testimony, before I was a Christian, I grew up in a Christian home. My mum and my dad was Christians probably for about 20-25 years. And I always knew that Jesus was right, I always knew that the Lord was the way, but being the man of the world, I grew up at the age of 17, 18, I got married, and I lived a life like many young people, done what I wanted to do, went where I wanted to go, done what I wanted to do. I got married and I settled down, I had children, and many times in my life I needed God. Many times in my life I struggled, and every time I was in trouble or in a hard place, I always knew that God was the way out. I always knew that God was the one that could help me through my life. And I've seen me park up and cry out to God, and God has always helped me. And I use God many times in my life like this, I would call him a God in the box. You know, I'd pull him out when I needed him. And you know, God being the God he is, he was always faithful to me, he always helped me, always got me through many things in my life. And probably around about 11 years ago, I was in the country in France, working in France. At the time, life was good. You know, I had no complaints. My wife was healthy, my children. I was probably earning more money than I'd ever earned in a long time. And life was really, really good. And God being the God he is, he knows exactly what he needs to do to get me to where I needed to be. And I took ill, I took bad in France. And I was bad with my back, a lot of pains down my legs. And I went to the doctors in France. I was in the hospitals for 2 or 3 days, went through machines, CAT scans. And in France, the doctors there are very, very good. And these doctors was puzzled, they couldn't find out what the problem was with me, but the pain was getting worse and worse. And the doctor in France, he referred me to go back home. At this time, I was frightened, I was scared. And I was on the boat on the way home, my wife and children was asleep, and I was lying in my bed. And I remember crying out to God in a way that I've never really cried out before. I said, Lord, I said, if you get me through this one, I said, I promise you I'm going to serve you. Because I knew that God was right, and I knew that God was the only way. And at that time in my life, I cried out to God. I came home, and I went to the hospital in a place called Darlington. And if anybody knows Darlington in the hospital, it's the worst in the world. I went there, and I was waiting for bad news. The doctor came in, he looked at me, and within 2 minutes, he fixed the problem. And I can give God all the glory to know that it wasn't the doctor who fixed my problems, it was God. And I walked out of the hospital in a way that I couldn't walk in. And I started going to church, I started going back to church, and I started realising that life that I was living really had nothing to offer. The life that I was searching for, the drink and the money and everything else, and the good times, it never fulfilled what I knew that God could. And that was 11 years ago. And the things that God's done in my life, right, I could probably stand here all day and tell you the things that God's brought me through, the testimonies. You know, my wife's a Christian, my children's walking with the Lord, my brothers have been saved through my testimony, and not just through me, but through many, many things. And Christianity, it's not easy, it's a hard thing to do. But if anything's worth fighting for, if anything's good, if anything's profitable, I want to tell you something, it's worth it, with every penny. And you know, everything that God gives for me, right, his precious blood, his life, I want to tell you something, I can never repay him. But what I can do, I can serve him. And to anybody who's watching this video or DVD, whatever it is, right, who doesn't know Jesus Christ, I can only say these words to you, right? I can only say these words, my words. Give them that opportunity in your life. Call upon the name of the Lord. Today is the day of salvation. You know, no man's promised tomorrow. And life really begins when you give your life to Jesus. I've got a peace in my life now. I've got a hope in the future. Not because I'm anything special, I'm not, but because of the God I serve. God bless you and thank you for watching. May you give your life to Jesus. God bless you.